This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
Want to feel more creative but don't have the right laptop? Lenovo.com can help. Look through our legendary lineup of AI-powered PCs and devices and find the one that fits your passion. Our PCs powered by Intel Core Ultra processors, as well as cutting-edge AI tools, allow students to focus, learn, and create with ease. That's the power of Lenovo with Intel inside. Plus, college students and teachers can get 5% off their order. Shop now on Lenovo.com. The future's waiting, and it needs you.
This season, let your shoes do the talking. Designer Shoe Warehouse is packed with fresh styles that speak to your whole vibe without saying a word. From cool sneakers that look good with everything, to easy sandals you'll want to wear on repeat, DSW has you covered. Find a shoe for every you from the brands you love, like Birkenstock, Nike, Adidas, New Balance, and more. Head to your DSW store or visit DSW.com today.
What if every student had a tutor and personalized learning was available to everyone? What if every family had a financial guide and their investments made for an optimistic future? What if every doctor could diagnose you in seconds and healthcare visits felt more personal? What if your business never slept and every customer's shopping experience felt like it was designed especially for them? It can with Agentforce, the powerful AI from Salesforce.
We've got something big cooking. I just can't tell you what it is yet. But if you want to know, you can tune into the Power Trip Morning Show this Wednesday, that's tomorrow, at 8 a.m. for an announcement that you'll absolutely want to be a part of. Don't miss out. Power Trip Morning Show, 8 a.m. tomorrow.
A lot of announcements taking place. Do you know what the announcement is?
I believe I do.
Oh, you do? I kind of feel on the outside looking in. I have no idea what it is. Would you like to tell me right now?
So I can tell you right now. Well, not to listeners, if I can tell you.
Oh.
You ready?
No, I don't really want to know.
Okay,
I'm going to tune in at 8 a.m.
Oh, that's right.
So pumped. I'm going to be tuning in from Twin Cities Orthopedics Performance Center, specifically TCO Studios on the radio side. And we're going to be in the bowels, in the depths.
Ugh.
It's pretty easy to get to be honest with you. It's kind of the center of the universe, in fact. As part of Vikings Entertainment Network, be in the radio studio. We're going to be testing out all the equipment. Got to get there an hour early just in case there are any technical difficulties in play. And I'll be there at 8 a.m. I'll listen to the announcement. But it's a big announcement.
I'm told it's big. I know. It's
big.
Yeah, it's big. It's huge. You have to tune in.
Keep the secret. Okay? That was just a test. I wanted to see if you couldn't help yourself.
No.
Because there are people here, when there are secrets, they love sharing things that they're not supposed to know. I'm impressed that you held on.
It does feel good to share, though.
You passed the test. It does?
Oh, kidding me? You've never been there? You've never done that? Or you have something you got to just say out loud?
You just have to vocalize it?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Not this, though. Got to wait until tomorrow morning.
Big thanks to Charge, a week of announcements. We got fantasy football training camp. We got something that sounds like it's going to be awesome tomorrow, 8 a.m. with the Power Trip Morning Show, 9 to noon, Pump for Camp. And I have an announcement. PA is going to be back tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. My gosh. Above average at that.
Jello and cold cuts. It's been a summer of love, but excited to see him. I haven't seen him in like a week and a half. I need to see the Vox. So we're going to catch up tomorrow at TCO. Now, we joke about it, whether it's corporate mandated lists, various things this time of year, just kind of get your way to camp. Baseball team wasn't helping. All-Star break doesn't help. But it is not the abyss. There's always stuff going on. But once in a while, maybe we get off the beaten path. And this is where I must be honest to you, the listener, and to you, Brett, as well. I'm kind of in uncharted territory here, specifically sports memorabilia. So in the early 90s, baby Nordo, 6, 7, 8 years old, I collected like Topps baseball cards. They were, You get them on, there's an end cap at a grocery store or something. You saw some baseball cards. I was not immune to it. Grabbed a few packs whatsoever. Never got into it on the high end. This is XYZ rookie card. I usually just collected like Minnesota Twins players and stuff. Like Scott Erickson, Kirby. I had a bunch of those. So I never really got into memorabilia. And now as an adult working at the Fan, I see it once in a while. Still not really into memorabilia, but I'll see, camp coming up. It's a big time for it. There'll be scheduled autograph signings and things. And I would always joke down in Mankato, maybe moments of frustration where you got a couple of kids. And that's how I became a Vikings fan. Going to camp in Mankato with this retired elderly woman that lived below me in our apartment building, Jean Cooper, who would bring me up stadium to Blakesley, and we'd watch camp. And I got to stick my little hands through the chain link fence and high five the Chris Dolmans and the Johnny Randalls of the world. And that helped kind of shape my fandom. And so now you see it, and you saw it in Mankato a bunch during camp, where our perch would be, and the players would walk out after a walkthrough, and they're heading across the road, head inside, get some water, get some meeting time in, and a ton of fans. And you'd see the kids. And that's really kind of the cool moment again, these mythical godlike creatures that, if you're looking through the eyes of a young kid. But then there was always some guy with like 15 mini helmets trying to get signatures. And it just felt like that probably wasn't going into even a man cave. It didn't feel like that was for personal.
He didn't have a giant mantle for 15 mini helmets ready to go.
I don't think he did. But so again, as an outsider to memorabilia, I saw this article, and it all kind of stemmed too from really, a super sad story, and I'll get into it. But a gentleman by the name of Brett Lemieux, that's the focus of this. And I saw this in Sports Collectors Digest yesterday. Again,
I didn't know you had a subscription.
I'm jumping without a parachute on this particular topic. I'm not a big memorabilia fan, and I see it all the time on social, again, whether it's people in person getting autographs and things. Like, the man cave vibe is awesome. And there are people that have put a ton of cash, a ton of time and equity into it. That's why, these teams are building big stadiums, and it's $9 beer night every day. And you just think about the people that are filling that stadium, the hardcore fans that bought the tickets, bought the $9 beers that are now like 14, and have put a lot of love, a lot of time, a lot of their discretionary funds into the growth of the core four and all sports, really. Memorabilia, favorite player, signs a jersey. You find, you go to eBay, you go to some site. I'm sure there are specific marketplaces that are key and memorabilia specific. But you love these teams. You build out your man caves. You have them on display. All of those things. You love it. So I saw this from Greg Bates yesterday. Sports memorabilia dealers had been chasing counterfeiter Brett Lemieux for years. Now, it's a criminal story, but then it's a sad story because it sounded like this person may have ended his own life. Brett Lemieux, whose main company was named Mr. Man Cave. He had his warehouse in Westfield, Indiana, raided by authorities just a few days ago, like a week ago, July 15th. The next morning, Lemieux posted his scathing 1,200-word rant and confession, and Lemieux was later found dead in his home. So this article jumps into it a bit, and we'll just kind of read through it loosely, and I just... A lot of questions have kind of emanated or kind of been spawned from this. In April 2020, through his lawyer, Mill Creek sports owner Scott Malum served Brett Lemieux a cease and desist letter to 4 accounts that sold sports memorabilia. So Mill Creek Sports, he's selling this stuff. Maybe some of you out there that love specifically memorabilia, maybe you have been a part of this. Maybe you've purchased items from Mill Creek Sports. Lemieux allegedly had been forging autographs of Malem's exclusive athlete, Russell Wilson. Lemieux was also allegedly faking Mill Creek Sports holographs and certificates of authenticity to accompany the signatures of the Seahawks QB. This wasn't Malem's first go-around with Lemieux. 3 to 4 years later, he had sent a similar cease and desist letter to the sports memorabilia dealer who rocked the hobby last week with claims of widespread fraud and forgery, as I mentioned before, sadly ending his own life just before police raided his home and business. So I'm reading this, and it kept mentioning this online rant. And you can find it. I found it. Guru Collects via X. He posted screenshots of it. And this is Brett Lemieux, basically, and just kind of reading some of it. These numbers sound a little preposterous, but that's okay. We'll get to it. Mr. Man Cave has sold over 4 million items. Yes, million. Surpassed 350 million in sales. Hard to believe that. Sold and produced holograms, Fanatics, TriStar, JSA, Radkey. He mentions a bunch of these sports. We sold over 5 million Fanatics holograms alone outside what we produced to the biggest vendors in the industry. JSA, we made and produced over 3 million counterfeit stickers and holograms. Steiner Sports, wow. We made yellow card holograms and then numbered sets in millions. Panini, oh yeah, almost forgot. We produced holograms and cards for their entire database. When Kobe died, we put out 80,000 items into the marketplace, sold over 500,000 counterfeit Panini items. Goes on to mention maybe somebody that mentioned Tom Brady items. 100,000 of those were fake. He mentions Dominique Ball, Nicholas Littre. I have no idea who these people are. He funneled items, sold under various names, various fraudulent accounts. You can buy a $150 auto pen on Amazon. Wow. And have people overseas vectorize signature and use ink scrape to auto pen. So that's part of, and you can, if you want to, you can go to the X account, Guru Collects, the collectibles Guru Collects, and you can read. There's a lot more to that. So he's claiming over the course of a 20-year operation that somewhere in the neighborhood of $350 million in sales via these fraudulent memorabilia items. So in some ways, I kind of need the memorabilia nerds to unite. And I say nerds affectionately because you guys have hobbies. I don't have hobbies. I'm very boring. And this can be a very noble hobby, by the way. It's kind of cool. I have buddies who collect stuff like this, and everything has a story. Now, maybe the story is a little bit different if you buy it off a website versus being there with a particular player. But I'm curious if you are into memorabilia at a level, whether it's as simple as a man cave. Are you actually a collector? Are you someone that's trying to, scour for deals online and then flip these things? Is it a money-making opportunity for you? Is it an investment? I'd be curious how real it could actually, how logical or how measurable it could be as an investment. Because I think, you can go to Antiques Roadshow and you can find an old vase that's worth $5,000 and really cool moment for everybody involved to find out how much it is. You could also put a few hundred into a rookie card, and 20 years later, it's worth $5 more than what you originally paid for it. Does that feel like an absolute win? Technically, but return on investment, mighty low. So how worried are people about fraud in this industry? The way this Lemieux cat paints it via his rant, his manifesto, if you will, and the way that this Mill Creek sports guy, Scott Malem, puts it out there, that faking holograms, auto-penning signatures, forging autographs, again, of big-name athletes in the industry. Tom Brady. Do you have a supposedly game-worn Tom Brady jersey that you paid, I don't know, how many hundreds or maybe low $1,000 for, and that thing's been hanging on your wall, and you show all your buddies it's a centerpiece of your basement, or it's in the powder room. Who knows where it is? But that thing's fake. It's a fake from Brett Lemieux. How worried are you about that? The man cave that you have put together, again, the personal connection to it, you were there, you got a player to sign it for you, and you love it. And again, centerpiece, it's a point of conversation. Hey, look at what I got. After the Minneapolis Miracle, I found Stephon Diggs' gloves. How cool is that? Big moment. And then I chased him down a year later and got him to sign him. That's a story. That's super cool. Or I found a good deal on him on eBay. Is there part of you inside that says, well, I know I got the certificate of authenticity, but are these real? Do we know that they're real? How comfortable or confident are you that the autograph is actually legit? Now, what's crazy about this, I did not know this. Now, globally is a big number. I think the United States happens to be the biggest marketplace for memorabilia. This is a $50 billion global market. Signing baseball cards, signing jerseys, the helmets, game-used bits. I wonder if that includes periodically, sad story, you hear about, former special teams player pawns Super Bowl ring. I mean, that's on the negative side of things, but those situations do exist. But this Brett Lemieux claiming that for 2 decades, he effectively ripped off north of 4 million different customers in a 20-year period. Now, Malem would say that the numbers are skewed. Here's what he says. Malem said those numbers stood out to him as being unrealistic and inflated. It's so far-fetched, it's out of this world. The one thing he talks about is Kobe Bryant. He died only a few years ago. And he'd sold 80,000 pieces when he died. And Kobe items went from instantly there was nothing less than 2,000, 3,000, 5,000, depending upon what kind of piece it was. Let's just take it that Lemieux did sell 80,000 pieces and sold them for $1,000. That's $80 million in sales. There's just no way you can move that many pieces on Kobe Bryant. It's impossible. Malem thinks Lemieux sold a smaller fraction. Again, the numbers are heavy. But the idea remains. And he boasted about it in his Facebook post. Even if it were 10 to 20% of some of those numbers he threw out there, it's disturbing. It really is. But I don't think there's any way possible that the numbers he gave can be accurate. I think he was just trying to go out in a blaze of glory and really try to make a splash. It's crazy to me that he thinks he's a hero in this or a big shot. It's nuts. He was just a criminal. And then Malem also says, my biggest fear is that other criminal enterprises that are a lot more sophisticated, a lot bigger, will start up. My fear is big rings out of maybe China or Russia. The amount of Russian things going on, they find out that there are millions to be made. It could be wild, wild west. That's our biggest fear. And at the end of the article, they noted that this isn't the first time Malem's had to deal with a forger faking one of his exclusive athletes. In 2020, Malem divulged that Wendell Rogers, who lives in McKinney, Texas, had been forging Russell Wilson autographs. And after a years-long investigation, Rogers, who was then going by as one of his aliases. Ooh, and this is deep. Wendell Giddin Rogers and an accomplice, Lisa Skolnick, were arrested in January of 2025. Rogers on bond, awaiting a court date. So 2 things. I was not aware that the memorabilia market is a $50 billion freaking market. But I'm just curious why people invest in it. What again, is it the emotional element? Do they want to swap and flip stuff and make money? Is it a connection just to a favorite player? Is it to design your own man cave? It's just super intriguing to me. And frankly, I have to be honest. I never, as an outsider of this, I never considered the idea of someone on a high end. I mean, we're talking whether it's the auto pen, you're actually using some sort of manufacturing process to forge the actual holograms. And again, certificates of authenticity. Like I said, I'm jumping without a parachute here. I don't know how everything within the memorabilia market works, but it's just, it's insane that something, again, connecting it back to a kid's game, connecting it back to loving these players as a kid, that's shaping your future as a fan of these sports. For me, grabbing a Jack and Jill on Belgrade in North Mankato, grabbing a few packs of baseball cards. that it would turn into, and maybe, I guess we are chasing dollars. We are chasing dollars, and maybe people, if they can find an angle, will try to chase them in a less than scrupulous fashion. But a $50 billion global market, how worried are you if you've invested in that game, Warren, if you've invested in that item, and you didn't see the athlete sign it themselves? You didn't see it. How worried are you that potentially it was a product of a Brett Lemieux or a Wendell Rogers? It's a fraud. It's a fugazi. It's not real. And how much maybe that matters to the aesthetic, to the vibe in your basement? Or, again, in the end, the emotional connection to it, the lack thereof, where your head's at on that. That was just again, and it ends sadly because Lemieux would ultimately end his own life. But I didn't know that there was an underbelly to the memorabilia world. Is nothing sacred, Brett? Is nothing sacred? Can there be no innocence?
It feels like any market that you can flip things and make a profit on, there's going to be someone that wants to cut corners. It just doesn't, like, I'm jumping in with even less of a parachute than you because it just doesn't do anything for me. Like, I would rather have a picture of me with Kirill Kaprizov than an autograph of Kirill Kaprizov. Even though I understand I could make money off of that, I don't really care about that. I would rather have the picture because that's me and him in a moment of time. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's just the type of rube I am or the way that my brain works. So I don't get unless it's purely just profit motivated, I want to turn this and make it, into my rent for that month. Other than that, I really don't see I don't know. I'd rather hang up a picture of me and Kaprizov than in the man cave than an autographed, stick that may or may not be real. And it wasn't even known that it was going to you. It was just a factory line that they're just signing over and over and over again. It's just humanless almost.
Yeah, I technically at a base level, I agree with you. I don't collect those things. But man, it's so cool. I simultaneously, it's like I won't dip my toes into the water with it. I won't go out there and spend money on it. But man, when I go to somebody's house, and I hate to admit this, I have a Packers fan that I'm well aware of. And it stinks. And you know what? Just hang on here. It gets worse. I think I kind of like the guy. Like, I think he's actually like a good person.
I like you too.
Above average.
And he has his cave set up. You guys that have invested in your caves, man, bless you. And you know what? I will accept any invitation. But I get to this guy's house, and he's a working stiff like us. And so, and that's part of it too. Again, this isn't him trying to flip stuff and, get a little side hustle out of it. And frankly, I should ask him. I'll text him during the break. I don't think he would even care ultimately if he even got it in his mind that maybe some of this stuff was on the sly. And I only say that because this guy loves his green and gold. And he's about 10 years older than me, I think. So, he's hearkening back and, how about those Super Bowl wins? I mean, the conversations generally devolve into madness, and it's very frustrating. But again, I still like the guy a lot. I think he has a putter that like Bart Starr used, like that sort of thing. So again, it's something that I personally have never invested in. And part of it, I guess, full disclosure, I didn't have a lot of money growing up. So in terms of digging into cards and getting those full sets you used to be able to get, and I'm sure you still can. You get those full sets from Topps or Fleer or whatever the companies are now. I can just read that at the Panini. I'm just naming random companies I'm not familiar with. But so I never got into it. But this guy could sit in his basement for 2 hours and just show me really freaking cool stuff that maybe it was signed or it came from this particular event, and he's put years into it because he loves his team. He's a freaking owner. There's a certificate on the wall. All of that. It's such a cool thing, and there's a beauty and an innocence to it that we all participate in willingly as sports fans, all of you that listen to 9 to noon or listen to the Fan or love your favorite sports probably have a moment where it's like, yeah, that's when it clicked for me. Yeah, that's when this thing happened, right? Like Twins fans, you're thinking 91. If you're a little bit older than me, maybe it's 87. As Vikings fans, again, for me, it was going to camp in Mankato. As a Wolves fan, it was the KG era. As a Wild fan, it was probably just because I went to a North Stars game. It was one of their last years. It was a birthday thing with my dad. They beat the Sharks like 10-3. It was like 91 or 92 at the old Met Center. You know, you can kind of pick those moments, but the run that they went, albeit they fell in the conference finals, that's probably what truly got me. Early college, cracking beers with buddies and watching the Wild go on a run. You all have those moments. And it just stinks that there are these complete, unscrupulous L's that exist at every turn. At every turn. I can't even buy a freaking autographed baseball card without potentially worrying that some bleep has faked and forged, and it's got to be the guy with the 20 mini helmets at camp. It's got to be that guy. But my buddy, this Packers fan, just the passion that he has, again, in a kid's game, and he's 50 years old, but the ability to show these things, the amount of time, the amount of money, every single placement, it's got to fit on the right spot on the wall. Man, that's amazing. It's super cool. So when I say the memorabilia nerds unite, I say that affectionately. It's super cool. It's an awesome hobby. But this article, as an outsider, just completely shocked me. In a $50 billion global market, potentially wrought with fraud. So that long rambling dissertation, that was me. That was an abyss bit, a little bit. But it just intrigues me. Again, if you have a man cave, if you are in this market, have you experienced those moments? Maybe you've bought something and you've been on the wrong side of it and you're caught chasing a dead email somewhere. If it's ever, what's your passion behind it? Is it rubedom? Is it a side hustle? Where are you at in those things? It's just, I need your help for those that are in there because this is new to me and this article just shocked me, sadly ending with someone taking their own life over it. 20 years of potential fraud and the tainting of a market that was really built off the idea of just kids connecting with pro athletes. So super interesting there from the Sports Collectors Digest. Memorabilia fraud. Let's do this. Let's pause. We'll jump into some text messages and things. We still have news. I got Thor Nystrom joining me at 11 a.m. Fantasy Life and some reality life with our favorite football team, the Vikings. That's Thor Nystrom at 11. But a cash giveaway opportunity is right now.
Yeah, the cash thing, the fan and bigdeck.com want to give you a shot to win bonus bucks with the National Cash Contest. Head to KFAN.com. The keyword is grand. The keyword grand, KFAN.com. Keyword.
I've got Dan Morgan here on the pod. Say hi, Dan.
Hey, how's it going today?
It's going good, man. Tell us who you are and what you do.
I'm Dan Morgan. I'm an attorney and a managing partner at Morgan & Morgan, which is America's largest injury law firm.
That's pretty awesome. I think I saw a billboard of yours recently that said 20 billion won. 20 billion is an insane number.
Yeah, 20 billion recovered. It's actually, I think, somewhere north, probably closer to 22, 23 after this year. And each year we get bigger and badder and our army grows. So the number will hopefully keep getting bigger and bigger as time goes on.
Awesome. So how does someone get in contact with Morgan & Morgan? What would I do if I got into an accident?
Probably the easiest way is dialing pound law. That's pound 529 from your cell phone. We are always open. Our call center is always waiting to take your call. 24/7, 365.
Wow. Dan Morgan from Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Thanks for coming by the show.
Thanks for having me.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Are you shopping for a new laptop while still trying to keep up with technology and AI? Talk about feeling burnt out, but no more. Lenovo.com makes it easier than ever to find the perfect PC. In fact, we'll break it down for you. Step 1. Shop our lineup of AI PCs powered by Intel Core Ultra processors. Because why deal with downloading new software when you can buy a smarter PC that already comes with all of the AI features and tools? Step 2. Find the one that fits your passion. Whether you're a creative genius, a research scientist, a hardcore gamer, or a future CEO, no dream is too big. That's the power of Lenovo with Intel inside. You can keep up with your ideas as well as any challenges you may face. Step 3. Add to cart and purchase. Oh, if you're a college student or a teacher, make an education account through us and get 5% off your whole order. Shop now at Lenovo.com. A better future is waiting, and it needs you.
Gatorade is the #1 proven electrolyte blend designed to hydrate better than water. So you can lose more sweat and raise your game. Gatorade, is it in you?
The last thing anyone wants is to leave behind confusion, stress, or worse, family conflict. That's why estate planning isn't just for the wealthy. It's for families like mine, and probably like yours. With Trust and Will, I created my estate plan in minutes, from naming guardians for my kids to putting our house in a trust to avoid probate. Fast, affordable, and way easier than I thought. Every plan is designed by estate planning attorneys and customized for your state. Plans start at just $199 and include essentials like healthcare directives and power of attorney. With Trust and Will's bank-level security and built-in privacy protections, your personal information and your wishes stay safe. Whether you're newly married, raising kids, caring for aging parents, or just want peace of mind, Trust and Will makes it easy to protect what matters most. Go to trustandwill.com, use code RADIO at checkout, and save 20% on your personalized plan. Because there's no better time to protect the people you love. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. See website for details.
Grand. Fantasy football training camp is back at Treasure Island Resort and Casino. Join Paul Charchian and the Fantasy Football Weekly crew Friday, August 15th in the Full Deck Ballroom, 6 to 9 p.m. Enjoy elite fantasy football knowledge and your shot at a $1,000 grand prize. Full details now, KFAN.com, keyword calendar.
Couple of text messages. Dave in Forest Lake, Nordo, Google Operation Bullpen. This was a sting operation years before this one. Netflix is running something about the collectibles market and fraud as well. Can't think of the name of it, but you should be able to find it. I certainly will. Operation Bullpen, by the way. This Gregory Marino cat. This is why I wonder if you're out there in the memorabilia market, and I'm going off of Wikipedia on this thing. Again, jumping without a chute here. So bear with me. But Wayne Bray, according to Operation Bullpen, memorabilia shop owner, met master forger Greg Marino in 94. Two became friends, went into business selling forged Mickey Mantle autographs, among other items. Large number of the forgeries were made by Marino, who could perfectly copy signatures on site and worked 15 hours a day to produce forgeries. Marino estimated he made over 1 million forgeries during their operation. So I'm kind of curious, and it sounds like, there was uncovered $100 million worth of fraud, celebrity autographs, sports memorabilia, and you hear about Greg Marino and these Mickey Mantle autographs. If you're out there and you're on the grind, there's only so many of these cards that are produced. So I wonder, is there an antenna that goes up? Some skepticism that arises when you start seeing a market potentially flooded with one particular player. And I assume they were smart enough not to just dump 1,000 of these cards in one spot. But all the same, having to sift through it. Because I got this text message, Steve in Florida. This is why grading copies for coins, paper money, video games, VHS tapes, comics, and cards exist. I'm in comics. Steve is. There's next to no fraud in comics compared to sports memorabilia. Now, I have no way of verifying this statement, but he also says 8 of 10 signatures in sports memorabilia are fake. I can count 3 fake signatures I've come across in comics in 40 years. Man, the collectibles market potentially just wrought with fakes. The interest behind it, if you know that, then again, that's what I would always lean to. I would lean to the idea that you're into this because you have some sort of personal connection. A couple other text messages just kind of echoing what we were talking about last segment. I only have autographs of players that I've seen in person, specifically. Yeah, here we go. That specific reason, it seems easy to forge. Athlete signatures change over time. Some just plain suck. I don't have any plans to sell any of this stuff. It's decoration, and at some point it'll be my kid's problem when I'm dead. I hope you live long and happily, sir. But this, and I had to Google this as well during the break, but it was popping in my head while I was going through this. There was, speaking of that, the idea that it's somebody else's problem when I pass away. I wonder how much of it is related to kind of the idea. It's like a modern day treasure hunt in some ways. I saw this article and I remember this happening. This would have, because it was summer 2020. So this is in the midst. Again, Sauce and I are doing Saturday's show watching powerlifting in Norway. That's how tough it got. And then there was a 60 game twin season, and you had Maeda in a shortened season, almost looked Cy Young worthy. We had a much younger Rich Hill, who now is at 45. I think he's playing for his 14th team. Rich Hill was on the Twins in 2020. Now he's pitching for the Royals, I think. His 14th team. That ties a freaking record. And he's 45 years old. But attic discovery. New Jersey man's baseball card collection includes 6 Babe Ruth autographs. I'm in the business of butchering names without help sometimes. So James Missione of Boonton, New Jersey, died on March 8th, 2020. The 97-year-old left a baseball card collection in his attic that was staggering. Accumulated over 80 years, Missione's collection included more than 1,000 vintage cards. And here's the payoff. It included 6 different 1933, it's either Gowdy or Goody. I'm going to go Goody. It's fun to say. 1933 Goody cards. I'm going to go Gowdy. Gowdy cards of Babe Ruth that were signed. And it notes that makes obviously the signature makes the cards worth even more. Other autographs and Gowdy cards were signed by, from 1933, Lou Gehrig and Jimmy Fox, whose name is misspelled as Jimmy with a Y on the card. Does an error make a card more valuable potentially? So is there an allure to this where someday Grandpa passes away, he's got this old, again, Antiques Roadshow vibe. Oh, he's got some old cards. Well, let's sell them for $0.25 a piece at a garage sale. No, hang on, before we do something stupid here. And someday your big Nintendo collection, Brett, is possibly worth a mint. I saw an article one time, I think you can buy like unopened, like classic NES games. Some of like a Mario Brothers, it might be in the thousands for a classic, unopened, unused NES game of Super Mario Brothers. One of the Ruth cards, card number 53, assume numbered in the set, which is one of the more valuable ones, will be among the first to be put up. There was an auction for this back in 2020, which runs through July 12th. It was graded PSA. So the grading of these cards, the quality of them, that must be part of what that other texter was talking about. We need to grade these things. Everything needs to be logged. PSA 3 is very good. The autograph on the card had a PSA of 6 or excellent. The highest graded of this version. And see this, again, trying to find out how much are out there and exist. According to PSA, this number 53 signed Babe Ruth card that they found in this gentleman's attic after he passed away, that there are slightly more than 800 submissions of the number 53 card for grading. Of those 142 had been graded at a PSA 3. The highest, the only one known to exist, was a PSA 9. So that's got to be like mint, right? Like that thing's near perfect from 1933. A signed Babe Ruth card. Wow. So are you chasing that? Are you chasing kind of the modern day treasure hunt of memorabilia? Well, meanwhile, I keep getting the idea here that most of the stuff, if you don't go to training camp, if you aren't hanging out in the parking lot after a game of your favorite team, and you don't see that person sign it, I'm starting to get to the vibe that most of this might be fake, might be forged, which creates some problem for a market that, again, you're buying and selling this stuff. Sounds kind of like a con game, unless you're one of you're James Missione's grandson. Now you have a different problem on your hand. How are you going to make some money off of those, I guess? So Modern day treasure hunt. Some are finding pure gold, like in the attic of a late New Jersey man's house, or you're finding yourself with a forgery of Russell Wilson. Or you have Bart Starr's putter and you just love your favorite team and you're a total rube and you never grow up and you just love sports and you love your man cave. So interesting stuff there from my standpoint. Memorabilia. I didn't know there was such an underbelly of it. Let's pause. Let's get back to actual in-concert, in-action sports with some news around the corner. And then Thor Nystrom pumping up the fantasy football training camp, pumping up Vikings training camp. And he just released, I believe Thor did, he released a mock draft for the 2025 season, or maybe 2026 draft. I got to read my text messages, so I'll get myself figured out around the break. And
I've got Dan Morgan here on the pod. Say hi, Dan.
Hey, how's it going today?
It's going good, man. Tell us who you are and what you do.
I'm Dan Morgan. I'm an attorney and a managing partner at Morgan & Morgan, which is America's largest injury law firm.
That's pretty awesome. I think I saw a billboard of yours recently that said 20 billion won. 20 billion is an insane number.
Yeah, 20 billion recovered. It's actually, I think, somewhere north, probably closer to 22, 23 after this year. And each year we get bigger and badder and our army grows. So the number will hopefully keep getting bigger and bigger as time goes on.
Awesome. So how does someone get in contact with Morgan & Morgan? What would I do if I got into an accident?
Probably the easiest way is dialing pound law. That's pound 529 from your cell phone. We are always open. Our call center is always waiting to take your call. 24/7, 365.
Wow. Dan Morgan from Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Thanks for coming by the show.
Thanks for having me.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Are you shopping for a new laptop while still trying to keep up with technology and AI? Talk about feeling burnt out. But no more. Lenovo.com makes it easier than ever to find the perfect PC. In fact, we'll break it down for you. Step 1. Shop our lineup of AI PCs powered by Intel Core Ultra processors. Because why deal with downloading new software when you can buy a smarter PC that already comes with all of the AI features and tools? Step 2. Find the one that fits your passion. Whether you're a creative genius, a research scientist, a hardcore gamer, or a future CEO, no dream is too big. That's the power of Lenovo with Intel inside. You can keep up with your ideas as well as any challenges you may face. Step 3. Add to cart and purchase. Oh, if you're a college student or a teacher, make an education account through us and get 5% off your whole order. Shop now at Lenovo.com. A better future is waiting, and it needs you.
Gatorade is the #1 proven electrolyte blend designed to hydrate better than water. So you can lose more sweat and raise your game. Gatorade, is it in you?
The last thing anyone wants is to leave behind confusion, stress, or worse, family conflict. That's why estate planning isn't just for the wealthy. It's for families like mine, and probably like yours. With Trust and Will, I created my estate plan in minutes, from naming guardians for my kids to putting our house in a trust to avoid probate. Fast, affordable, and way easier than I thought. Every plan is designed by estate planning attorneys and customized for your state. Plans start at just $199 and include essentials like healthcare directives and power of attorney. With Trust and Will's bank-level security and built-in privacy protections, your personal information and your wishes stay safe. Whether you're newly married, raising kids, caring for aging parents, or just want peace of mind, Trust and Will makes it easy to protect what matters most. Go to trustandwill.com, use code RADIO at checkout, and save 20% on your personalized plan. Because there's no better time to protect the people you love. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. See website for details.
We'll hit some news next. Just confirming that Thor Nystrom sent me his 2026, never too early, mock NFL draft. He's crazy for this.
Oh my gosh.
Who is he, meat sauce?
And I freaking love it. Oh, Thor's going to join next. We'll talk again. Fantasy football training camp popping up at TI here in a few weeks. He's going to be a big part of that on stage with Charch and the Fantasy Football Weekly crew. So we'll chat about that. We're going to jump into this 2026 mock draft in July. I haven't even seen a Vikings 2025 training camp practice yet. But we're going to jump into 2026 a little bit. We'll chat fantasy. We'll chat reality. We'll have a blast next segment with Thor. But it's News du Nord, and it's presented by The Casino. You've heard me say this before. It's not a casino. It is The Casino at Canterbury Park in Shakopee. Feeling the felt, poker, blackjack, and table games all year round. And then live racing is in play as well. So CanterburyPark.com will point you to a live racing schedule. They got cool events and shows and expos beyond. Go to CanterburyPark.com. Where are we headed, Brett?
Number 1.
We're headed to TCO. I got a couple leftover Vikes bites.
Ooh.
Vikes bites. The Vikings are bringing in linebacker.
Sorry to leave you hanging there, by the way. Do it again.
Vikes bites. Thank you. Right. The Vikings are bringing in linebacker Jihad Ward for a visit today. He played all 17 games last season under Flores.
He did indeed.
He has 19 career sacks. Nordo, your thoughts?
Well, my thought is just as a back end of the depth chart type guy, Jihad Ward actually was pretty productive. It was kind of the classic story, and I'm scrambling feverishly while I chat about Jihad to find it. Yeah, it was kind of a race. So he had 14 QB hits last year, playing outside linebacker, doing some pass rushing for your favorite football team. And that is third on the team, by the way. Jonathan Grenard with 22, Andrew Van Ginkel with 19. QB hits, okay, well, that generally means the ball has already gotten out, right? And you'd be correct in that regard. From a splash play standpoint, you're looking at sacks, and you're looking at forced fumbles. You're looking at things like that. Well, he had 14 QB hits and just 1 sack. The season for Ward last year was like this constant story where he's popping up. He's super productive, super reliable, but he was always just a foot too late. So he had the single sack. He had a fumble recovery. I think he had a knockdown at the line of scrimmage. So again, playing in 17 games. Now, the opportunity that he has, this is gun for hire season. And for the Vikings in the linebacker spot right now, of course, it's going to be if he's going to be on the pass rushing side of it. I mean, you look at, again, he's not going to get a lot of time behind Van Ginkel, behind Grenard, behind Dallas Turner. And so he's not going to get all the reps there. But if they're seeing that they're in a spot potentially to have somebody produce, somebody that competes in camp, he actually, I would say, earned his cash a year ago. So cool for Jihad. Welcome back. I expected if there was going to be a late addition, we'd see a cornerback names coming across the wire. But Jihad Ward, admittedly, it's not, I didn't think about Jihad Ward all summer long. And now I've thought about him for about 45 seconds. So good for Jihad. Welcome back if he finds himself with a contract.
I am happy for you that you didn't think of Jihad Ward all summer. That's a good thing.
No, I hope he's doing well. Hope he had a great summer. He's in shape. He's ready to go. He's looking for an opportunity.
Shoulders sculpted. Yeah.
I think he grew an inch over the course of the summer. He wouldn't believe what happens between minicamp and training camp. You wouldn't believe it. Completely different person.
Broad shoulders.
Number 2.
Hey, Justin Jefferson, he had an interview with, I believe, Yahoo Sports.
Okay.
And was talking about potentially wild cards, not having to play on the road. He said, quote, "Yes, especially with the season we had last year, to go and play away, it definitely was a little different. It definitely needs to go into conversation and something that we need to figure out because having 14 wins, ... normally doesn't go play away in the playoffs."
Yeah. Well, and I saw this originally too. He would go on and he kind of had mentioned, he's like, we had an opportunity. We had home field advantage on that. That was when I first started reading it. I'm like, please, Justin, please admit that you guys had the 1 seed on the line, that you had a division title on the line, that you had an opportunity. And you went 0 for 4, I think, in the red zone. You went 0 for 3, goal to go inside the 10 in the red zone against the Kitties, that regular season finale. And it was just putrid. It was brutal to watch. And then you lose, of course, in the wild card game the next. This kind of comes up every couple of years. There's somebody that's got this in a spreadsheet somewhere. It doesn't feel, because there was a Panthers team that made the playoffs going 7-8-1. I think like a 7-9 Seahawks team got to host a playoff game against like a 10-6 or an 11-5 Saints squad. That may have been the Beastquake. That must have been when Marshawn Lynch got loose at formerly Century, now Lumen Field. It just doesn't happen that often. And the only thing I would say then is if you don't want that to happen, because it's got to be deflating to win 14 games and then you're headed on the road. I get that, and I agree with that. But then why do divisions matter? There still has to be a benefit to winning the division. And then it's going to be weighted based on the quality of your division. Right now, we're speaking about the NFC North. I think the AFC North and the AFC West can be talked about like this too, as put them all together, 3 of the toughest divisions in the NFL. But if divisions aren't going to matter, then I like the rivalry that you have with the green and gold and the Bears and the Kitties. But if divisions aren't going to matter and you're not going to get the benefit of hosting a playoff game, guess what? I don't want to play a tough-ass NFC North 2 times each. Give me some of that NFC South. I want to play those L's every single season. Give me them Saints. And so,
where's Penix when you need them?
So then you think, well, we get the Falcons week 2. And I'm not, Bijan went off against the Vikings a year ago. And I feel he's possibly in a position to have even a better season as he kind of in year 2 really got some legs under him. So Bijan's going to be a problem. And Penix has a right to come to U.S. Bank Stadium and win a game. But I like the Vikings in that scenario. We shall see. But to that end, a lot of bad teams. I want Carolina on my schedule every year. I want the Giants on my schedule every single year. You'd have to kind of reframe, and maybe you play the other 15 NFC teams every season, and you could alternate road and home. And then maybe those final 2 games are those rivalry games. Now you're pulling out. In some ways, you're kind of running out of space to do interleague. So now you're not playing the AFC teams. How you would frame up that scheduling, and then effectively it's just as a soccer fan, you appreciate the idea. You're just top of the table, right?
Yeah.
And the top 7 seeds find their way into home games and road games and bye weeks here, there, and anywhere. I like the rivalries. I like the idea of the divisions. You have to be rewarded for winning a division. And so it's frustrating in those moments where you win 14 in a super competitive division and you ultimately have to go on the road as a wild card. You had a chance to win in the finale and you didn't do it. And to Jefferson's credit, as I pointed, you read the first part of that quote. There is more to it where he acknowledges we were on the doorstep and we couldn't get it done. Totally get it. But we won 14 games. And you feel like you want to be rewarded for that. If you're gonna weight the division the way you do, and you play all the other division teams twice, I think you still get a home game. And Vikings certainly had the ability to go down, and ultimately you play it in Arizona because of the wildfires. You had a chance to win that game, and you showed up flat. Your QB got sacked 9 times, couldn't score to save your life, and you're out of the playoffs. So. No! So I would personally be in favor of either you're going to reorganize the entire scheduling system and it's truly going to be you play every other team in the NFC, and then whatever you do with those final 2 games is that, while the Packers are a rival, you try to maintain some of that history, or you do AFC games. But unless you completely change the scheduling system to truly create the perceived even-handed nature of a schedule in the season, then you still care about the division. You still care about winning the North. And if you win the North and you're 8-9, you're hosting a freaking playoff game. So I'm cool with that staying the way it is.
Yeah, I agree. One more?
Yeah, sure.
Number 3.
It's not going to be the baseball team, is it?
It's not. Okay. No, I thought about it, but no.
It was great to see Buxton hit a leadoff home run. It was cool to see the unicorn, who Buxton hit the home run off him, Shohei Ohtani, come back with a 2-run shot in the second. It was sad to see Correa's home run fall a few feet short. But in the end, it was sad to watch a baseball team. Now they've lost like 4 out of 5, and it's just ugly. And there's like 8 to 10 games before the trade deadline, and probably need to, over the next week, start to decide exactly whether they're going to push, whether they're going to pull, whether they're going to stand pat. Pure ugliness right now for the baseball team.
No, I was going to go Cincinnati Bengals, actually. No one alienates their players more than the Cincinnati Bengals. And Trey Hendrickson will not report with the rest of the team's veterans today. He told Adam Schefter, it's a pretty good source. The development comes one day before the Bengals start in downtown Cincinnati. So he's out. He wants a new contract, and he's not holding in. He's holding out.
Yeah, not surprising. He's been among the more vocal, and now maybe he'll be outmatched by Micah Parsons, who is starting to get loud about his money. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and franchise tagging T. Higgins for the second year in a row, that's difficult. Integral part of an offense that's going to throw for 5,000 plus yards this year. I mean, what is it, Chase Brown? I'll ask Thor what he thinks about Chase Brown, who's kind of a bowling ball, can be versatile. He catches it out of the backfield. He offers some of those short yardage touchdowns that we're yearning for in Minnesota, but that's a team that throws it. And that tandem has paid significant dividends for them. The problem with that team is if they want to return to sniffing the Super Bowl as they did, albeit in a loss in 2021, man, that defense needs to be better. And the cornerstone of that defense is Trey Hendrickson, and Cat's not happy. And he's seeing everybody get paid, and he's seeing everybody in line, and when am I going to get mine? Well, he hasn't gotten it. So totally makes sense. Interesting situation, as I mentioned, with Parsons down in Dallas and the owner. Again, I don't think Jerry Jones in Dallas has ever had a problem with being on the hot seat, being on the tips of everyone's tongues in the sports world, talking about contract issues, drama, controversy. I don't think he's ever bothered or shied away from any of that. And he'll figure out how to keep Parsons. This Trey Hendrickson thing is more problematic, though. If they start 0-2, they start 1-2, they start 0-3. This is a team that starts slow, but then suddenly they're winning 5 out of 6, 7 out of 8 down the stretch late November and December to put themselves in playoff positioning. They're a slow start and a fast finish type of team, and this is not helping them. And how long he holds out, how the team figures it out, it's I like how you said that in some ways. Maybe unintentionally, but organizationally, it's true. They've alienated their players at various junctures. Thank you for that. Thank you for the news. That's News to Nord, brought to you by The Casino at Canterbury Park. We're going to pause, come back. Thor Nystrom, Fantasy Life. We're going to dig into fantasy and reality, cool fantasy football training camp, heavy football conversation with Thor. Final hour ahead, 9 to noon.
Let your imagination take flight with an AI-powered PC from Lenovo. Whether it's creating digital art, designing new software, or building a portfolio for a future career, our PCs are powered by Intel Core Ultra processors to help students unlock smarter learning and unleash their creativity. That's the power of Lenovo with Intel inside. All you have to do is choose the one that fits your passion. Head to Lenovo.com to shop AI PCs and find your perfect companion. Plus, get 5% off when you create an education account.
Every day has a to-do list, but adding Enjoy Belvita to yours can help you knock out the rest of it. Belvita breakfast biscuits are a tasty and convenient breakfast option when paired with low-fat yogurt and fruit that provides steady energy all morning. While Belvita Energy Snack Bites give you the perfect mid-morning refuel. Best part, they both taste great. So make the most out of your morning with a bite of Belvita. Pick up a pack of Belvita at your local store today.
Every business has an ambition. PayPal Open is the platform designed to help you grow into yours. With business loans so you can expand and access to hundreds of millions of PayPal customers worldwide. And your customers can pay all the ways they want with PayPal, Venmo, Pay Later, and all major cards, so you can focus on scaling up. When it's time to get growing, there's one platform for all business. PayPal Open. Grow today at paypalopen.com. Loans subject to approval in available locations.
With depression, it feels like every day you're just going through the motions. I wanted something that could help me feel better fast and that also lasts. That's when my doctor told me about Auvelity.
In a study, Auvelity started working for some as early as 1 week, with significant improvements seen on average at 6 weeks compared to placebo.
Auvelity is helping me to feel more like myself. I'm glad I talked to my doctor about Auvelity.
Auvelity is a prescription medicine for adults with major depressive disorder, MDD. Auvelity is not approved for children under 18. Auvelity may increase suicidal thoughts and actions in young adults. Tell your doctor about sudden changes to mood, thoughts, or behavior. Do not take Auvelity if you have a history of seizure, eating disorder, or have abruptly stopped drinking alcohol or taking benzodiazepines, barbiturates, or anti-seizure medicine. Serious allergic reactions can occur. Do not take if you are allergic to dextromethorphan, bupropion, or any of the ingredients in Auvelity. Do not take with MAOIs. High blood pressure, manic episodes, serious eye problems, and dizziness can occur. Report all medicines you take to avoid a life-threatening condition. Do not take Auvelity if you are or may become pregnant. Side effects can include dizziness, headache, diarrhea, feeling sleepy, dry mouth, sexual function problems, and excessive sweating.
Ask your healthcare provider if Auvelity is right for you. Visit Auvelity.com. That's AUVELITY.com. Or call 866-496-2976 for more information.